Good morning, guys. In the last class, we discussed about how to develop a web application by using Spring Web MVC. By using Spring Web MVC, we can develop both web applications as well as distributed applications also. In order to create the web application by using Web MVC, we are using Web Starter. If you use Web Starter, you can build web applications, you can build REST APIs using Spring MVC, and it will provide Apache Tomcat as the default container. And when we go for web application development, presentation logic will be available. To develop that presentation logic, we can go for JSP or TimeLeaf. So currently we are using TimeLeaf. So to develop TimeLeaf as a presentation technology, to use TimeLeaf as a presentation technology, we need to add TimeLeaf starter. And we are using 3 annotations as part of our web application as of now. One is @controller, second one is get mapping, third one is request mapping. @controller will represent our Java class as a Spring controller, which will handle the request and response. Get mapping, it is used to map our controller method to get request, which is used to get the data. Similarly, request mapping, if you want to map class level URL pattern, then you can go for request mapping. Why we need to go for class level plus method level URL pattern? To avoid the ambiguity problem, because multiple developers will be working from different locations. If we use some same URL patterns in our project, then application will fail to start. Ambiguity problem. To avoid that ambiguity problem, we will map the URL pattern at the class level as well as at the method level. Good. Now, so let me connect with my database. We want to integrate WebMVC plus data JPA to develop our application. So let's go to MySQL Workbench. What happened? Yeah. Use our database, select show tables. There are several tables available. Let me go for a table called book table. Select star from book. Yes, there are 3 records available now. I want to retrieve the records from this table and I want to display in the UI page. That is the task I have given yesterday. So let's develop that application now. So I want to retrieve the data from database table and I want to display that data in the UI. Okay, in order to do this, we are going to create one application. So this is going to be our application. Our application should communicate with the DB table. So this is MySQL database, external database. In order to communicate with the database, we are going to create one repository. Repository will be available. Okay. To communicate with the repository, we are going to create service. Service class will be available, which is going to communicate with the repository. To communicate with the service, we will be having controller. Okay. Controller class will be available. In order to access that controller, we will be having one UI page. User interface will be available. End user will communicate with the user interface to send the request. Then it will talk to controller. It will talk to service. It will talk to repository. It will talk to database. So this is the flow. So we need to develop this application by using Spring Boot. For the auto configuration purpose, we are using Spring Boot. And as we want to develop this as a web application, we need to use WebMVC. Spring Web Starter we need to add. In order to communicate with the database, we need to use data JPA. So total 3 things we are going to use in order to develop this application. First one is Spring Boot. Spring Boot we are going to use then we will be using Spring Web MVC, and we will be using Spring Data JPA to develop this application. I just want to retrieve the data from the table display in the UI. So if you go to any application, displaying the data in the UI is very common requirement. So if you go and click on online training, so there is table in the database, in that the records are available. I want to get the records and I want to display those records here. Just retrieval. Retrieve the records and display the records here. Same thing we need to do. Now, let me create that project. File, new, Spring Starter project. So this is our 15th application, fetch records, WebMVC book app. WebMVC book application. You can package it as a jar ROR, no problem. So earlier we discussed that standalone application will be packaged as a jar file, web application will be packaged as a war file. That definition will change when it comes to the Spring Boot. In general, standalone application means which will start from the main method. Web application means which will be deployed in the server as a war file. But in the Spring Boot, every application execution will start from the main method. So that's why Spring Boot project you can package as a jar also. Even though it is a web application, you can package Spring Boot application as a jar file. Okay. Java version, language, package in .ashok.it. Click on next. Web starter, time-leaf starter, data JPA, MySQL driver. So here web starter to develop a web application with Tomcat as a embedded server. Data JPA to communicate with the database, right? MySQL driver to communicate with the MySQL database, we need this driver. Time leaf for the presentation purpose. Along with this, I'm going to use one more dependency called dev tools. Can you read the tooltip? What is the dev tool? Fast application restart, live reload, and configurations for enhanced development experience. That means whenever you make some code changes in the project, you no need to restart the server manually. Server will be restarted automatically when there is a code change. If you have this dependency in the pom.xml, which is called dev tools. Okay, next and finish. With this, we are creating our application. Creating Spring Boot application by using Maven as a build tool. All right. Project got created. Let me take the data source properties. MySQL database we want to use. So let us take this data source properties and configure them in application.properties. Username, password, URL, DDL auto, update, show SQL, true. So these are our data source properties. I want to communicate with MySQL database. Good. Now, in order to communicate with the database, first we need to have entity and repository. Table is already available. We need to create one Java class which is representing the table in the database. So the Java class which is mapped to the database table is called as entity class. What annotation we will use to represent our class as entity? @entity. So I'm taking one class book. What are the variables? You check the table. Book ID, book name, book price available. Okay. Now private integer, book ID, private string, book name, private double, book price. Right. Next, let us represent this class as a entity by using @entity annotation. If you don't want to map it to a particular name, then by default, class name will be taken as a table name. My table name is book, my class name also book, no need to map it. Let us represent this is mapped to primary key column @ID. Here, if you want to use generator, then you can go for @generated value strategy. If you want, you can use it. Okay, any strategy you can specify. But currently it's not required because we are not inserting anything. We are just retrieving. So there is no use of generator also. Fine. Next one, let us add the setters and getters for these variables to get the data. Then if you want, you can write toString method also to print content of the object. Setters, getters are mandatory because whenever you call find all method, that data JPA will take the table data, will store into entity object. To store the data into entity object, setter methods are required. Setters and getter methods are mandatory now. Fine. With this, our entity is ready. Next step, create our repository interface. Okay, so let me keep that inside a separate package called repo package, which is I'm making it as book repository. I'm making it as a book repository. Extends from JPA repository. Okay, what is the entity? Book. What is the primary key of that book? Primary key is book ID. The data type of that is a integer. Okay, good. So with this, our persistence logic is ready, guys. We are able to create one entity class to map with the table, and we are able to create one repository also. Next, let us create one service. Let us create one service. I'm going to create that as book service. New, generally, people will create service as a interface. Okay, so we are going to create that as a book service. What method we need to develop this application? Can you tell me the method name? What is our requirement now? We need to get all the records available in the table. So do I need to take a parameter for the method or not required? I just need to get all the data available in the table. Public list of book, get all books. Get all books. This is my abstract method inside the interface. Controller will talk to interface for the loosely coupling. We discussed in the initial classes strategy design pattern. Always one class should communicate with the another class by using interface as a mediator, so that we will have loosely coupling. So that's why I'm creating service interface with one abstract method, that is get all books. Method is not taking any parameter, but method is returning list of book objects. Okay. Then provide implementation for the service. New class. We are going to call it as book service IMPL. Which interface it has to implement? Book service interface. Okay. Implement this interface. There is only one abstract method available. We need to override that. First, we need to represent this as a service. Okay, @service. Service should communicate with the repository. So what we need to do? We need to inject the repository into service. That is called auto wiring. Okay. So how many ways we can do that auto wiring? 3 ways: setter, constructor, and field also. All out of all, which is better? Constructor injection is better. Okay. Private, we are taking this as book repository, book repo. If you want to go for field injection, then directly you can call auto void. Now, once it is done, we need to call the repository method to get the data. To get the records from the table, we have a method called bookrepo.findAll. What it is returning? List of books. So can I directly return like this? My method should return list of books. Repository method also returning list of books. So I'm directly calling return repository.findAll. So whenever our method is called, our method will call repository method. Whatever is returning by the repository, Our method also returning the same thing. So return book repository dot find all. So with this, our service layer is also ready, which is going to communicate with the repository to get all the records from the database table. Okay. Then next one, controller. What is controller? What is controller? It is responsible to handle request and response. So let me create one book controller. Controller, we need to represent this class as a controller. For that, we will use @controller annotation. @controller annotation. Then we need to inject service object into our controller object. Repository injected to service, service will be injected to controller. Now, controller should talk to service, private book service, private book service, service. So let us write @auto wiring, done. Inside the controller, we should write the logic. Inside the controller, we should write the logic. Fine. Public, public. What is the return type? Model and view. Okay. Get books. Get books. Service dot get all books. It is returning all books data. Okay. Now here this method should return model and view object. Controller is responsible to handle the request and return model and view object to the dispatcher servlet. Model and view is equal to new model and view. Then here we are going to write return model and view object. Model and view MAV is equal to new model and view service dot get all books, list of all books, list of all books available, return model and view object. Now I need to send this list to the UI. I am getting the list from the service. Controller is calling the service method. Service method is calling the repository method. We are going to get the data. Now I need to send this list to the UI. So to send the list to the UI, what is the method, guys? Add object, key and value. Key can be anything. Now value is collection. Key is string. Key is a string. Value is collection. I want to send list of books from controller to UI. Where these books should be displayed? For that we need one page. To display these books we need one page. Okay. MAV dot set a view name. So I'm setting the view name as books. Something like this. Any page name, book view .html or anything you can create. So you can do like this also. If I give the name as book view, what is the meaning of that? We need to create one HTML page with the same name. We need to create one HTML page with the same name. Okay. This method should be mapped to get request. Okay. How do we do that? @get mapping / books. This method is mapped to get request with a / books here. Okay. Now our project is ready except to view page. Project is ready except view page. Let us create view page, that is a HTML page. Go to templates, right click, new file, right? What is the file name? booksview.html. Finish. So one empty file got created. This is books view. Okay, this is the name. With the same name, we need to create one HTML file. But here nothing is available. Can I get the bootstrap template? How do we get that? Go to getbootstrap.com. Second one. Copy this. Edit. This body will keep inside the container. Div class is equal to container. Margins will be available. Inside the container, books info. Books info. Just first we will see that whether we are able to access this page or not. Whether we are able to access this page or not. So if we are able to access this page, then we will see how to display the data in the table format. First, whether this page is loading or not, we need to understand. Yes, it will match. Whenever you have ID, right, it will treat it as a book ID. This will be considered as book underscore ID. You will consider like this. Okay, when you have camel case format, it will consider variable name with matching with the column name like this. Okay, so what are the steps we have done, guys? What is the first step we have done? Create boot app with below dependencies. What are the dependencies I have added? First one is web starter, second one is JPA starter, third one is MySQL connector, fourth one time-leaf starter is added, and dev tools I have added. Then after this, create entity and repository. Then create service and its IMPL. Create service interface and IMPL class. Then we are creating controller. Create controller with a required method. Then create view page. Okay. Then create view page with a presentation logic. Whatever the presentation logic is required. And one more step, configure data source properties in application.properties file. We are having application.properties file. In that file, we need to configure data source. As we are using MySQL database, we are configuring MySQL properties. So these are the steps we have done. Look at this. Read the 6 steps. Creating the boot application with required dependencies, creating the entity class and repository interface, creating the service interface and IMPL, creating the controller with required method, create view page with the presentation logic, then configuring data source properties in the application.properties file. Now let us run this application. Right click, run as boot app. I'm not setting the port number. So default port number it will take as 8080, and a connection pool will be created. As we are using JPA starter, connection pool will be created by default. Tomcat started with the port number 8080. Now go to browser, localhost colon 8080. Context path is not available. Direct method URL pattern books. Yes, our page is loading as expected. Now we need to display the data in the table format. So we are getting the page as a response, but in the page data is not coming. We need to display data in the page. Controller is already sending data to the UI by using model object. So this key and value. What is a model? What is a model, guys? Model is a map which will represent the data in the form of key and value. Model is a map which will represent the data in the form of key and value. Here key is a string, value is a object. Key is a string, value is a object. That object is also collection object. That value is a collection object. Now I need to iterate my collection in the HTML. I am having HTML page. Inside the HTML, I need to iterate my collection. Okay. For that, we are going to create one table. We need to create one table. So let me create one table, right? Inside the table, T head will be available, table header will be available, and table body will be available. T head and T body. Inside the T head, one row will be created, TH. Then I'm going to take it as book ID, book name, and price. Price. Okay, let us see that. Is our table coming as expected or not? Refresh this. Yeah. Now it is coming book ID, book name, book price, but the table is not coming in the proper format, right? The look and feel is not good. So to change that look and feel, we will use bootstrap content. Okay. Before that, let's go to our table here. Now here I am going to give table class is equal to table. If I give the class is equal to table, this time leaf is not reloading. Yeah. Now the look and feel is changed. Next one, table class is equal to table. Then I will give table bordered, table bordered. Some class will be available for that. Yeah. Now the table is having with some border. If you want to change the style of the table also, you can give stripes. So line by line, it will be alternate lines will be highlighted. Now, so fine. We are able to display the table. Now the question is how to display data in the table. Already my controller is sending the data in the form of list of objects. That list of objects I want to access in my UI. So here the concept is we need to iterate one collection in the time leaf. We need to iterate one collection in the time leaf. Already in the Java, we know how to iterate a collection by using for loop or for each loop. But here controller is sending the collection to the UI in the form of model object, key and value. Using the key, we can get the value. Now, if you don't know how to iterate the collection in the time leaf, you no need to by heart anything. Just I told you that Google searching technique we need to learn. Go to Google and you simply type iterate list in time leaf. See, already so many people inquired about that concept. That's why in the Google that question is ranked, right? Iterate list in time leaf. Time leaf iterate list. How to loop a list by index in time leaf. How to iterate over a list in time leaf. Loop through array in time leaf. So you can use any concept here. Now, in order to iterate a list in the time leaf, so this is the concept. TH colon each concept is available. Using that you can iterate the collection. Okay. How to loop a list by index in the time leaf. You can scroll down. Yes, exact. This is the logic we need. Okay. So for every record, my list nothing but collection of objects will be available. List of objects are available in the list. For every object, one row should be created. If I have 3 objects, then 3 rows should be created. If I have 4 objects, then 4 rows should be created. For every record in the collection, one row should be created. Now, so let us copy this code. Go to our IDE. Inside the body, I'm pasting this logic. Okay, copy paste, but it will not work as expected. Their key is different, our key is different. Their properties are different, our properties are different. Okay, now They are giving here index also. Index means before the book ID, we can keep a serial number also. 1, 2, 3, how many records are available? You can find out that. What is the key that we are sending from the controller? Books. Let us take this key and give that key, $of key. So from this key, we will get the value. Value is a collection. From this collection, store each record into B variable. Then B dot, what data we need to get? Property name. Book dot, B dot book ID, nothing but book dot get book ID. Similarly here, B dot book name. Okay, our variables names in the book class variables are available, right? We need to use those variables here. B dot book price, and here B stat, employee stat, na B stat we need to use to get that index value. So now I am writing th colon each. What is the meaning of th colon each? It is like a for each loop. I'm giving the key as books. From this book, get the first object and print that first object data. Then get the second object, print that second object data. Here B variable. You can give variable name as anything. From the books, I'm getting the book object. Like that also you can keep it. If you keep the variable name as a book, then book start dot index, book dot book ID, book dot book name, book dot book price. So these are our variable names available in the entity class. Okay. Now, so with this, our presentation logic is ready. Our presentation logic is ready to retrieve the books available in the database and display those books here. Perfect. Stop this project and run this again. Refresh, right click, run as boot app. Yeah, it failed. When I'm trying to access this, it is giving 500 error. The error occurred during the template. Which line number? Book start dot index, line number 29. Book start dot index is not available. Let's remove this for now. We'll see how to get that index. Run as boot application. I'm printing directly ID, name, and price. Now refresh. Now we are able to get the data which is available in the database table. Okay. So book information we are able to retrieve. So whenever I'm sending the request to /books from the browser, the request is going to the controller directly. That controller is a book controller. Controller is calling our service method. Service method is calling our repository method. Repository is calling find all method. It is returning all the data. So whatever the data that we are getting, with that data, we are sending that data to the UI by using model and view object in the form of key and value. Key and value. Okay. So here, when you send the data in the form of key and value, in which view page you need to access that data. I want to access that data by using view, books view. If you go to books view, you can see that the records are displaying in the table format. Now, what I want to do is I want to add extra functionality in this project. We need to develop a form to store the data into DB. Currently, we are able to retrieve the data from the database and we are displaying. Now, I want to develop a page where we can save the record into the table, how to update the record, how to delete the record. So I want to add some extra functionality for this one. Okay. So here I'm going to write one more button. I will write one button or I will write one hyperlink. A href is equal to some value, add new book. Okay, I want to add the new book in my database, right? For that I need one form. So to add the new book data, I am writing add new book. For this I will write, currently I am not giving anything, later we will add the URL pattern. So whenever you click this button, whenever you click this button, then it should open a page where we can display enter book name, book price. So whenever you click on submit, that record should be inserted into database table. That is one requirement. Then second one, for this book only, I am giving action. You should be able to edit the record and you should be able to update the record. Okay, edit and update as well as delete the record. Okay, so I'm going for one TD. Inside the TD, I will write ahref is equal to some value, edit the record, then ahref then I want to go for delete. Okay, so just I'm adding 3 extra functionalities here. We are able to retrieve the record. Now we should be able to add the record, we should be able to edit the record, we should be able to delete the record also. Now let me run this application and let us see the UI, how it looks like. Refresh, run as boot app. Now, yes, we are getting the functionality, add a new book available, edit the book and delete the book options available. I want to make these buttons beautiful. I want to apply some bootstrap styles for that. To apply bootstrap styles, let's go here and add the new book. Class is equal to button primary. Okay, so edit and delete. Now similarly for this also, class is equal to button secondary or primary, whatever you want. Now for delete, I'm giving the class is equal to button danger something. I'm adding some bootstrap styles to make our pages more beautiful, more colorful. Now let us run this application again. Yeah, now so we are able to get the colors for the buttons. So here we have a option called add a new book option is available, here edit option, here delete option. So the requirement is whenever you click on add a new book, one page should open where it will have 2 fields, enter book name, enter book price. When you click submit, the record should be inserted into database table. Whenever you click on edit, it should open that record in the editable mode where you can modify the name and modify the price. And similarly, delete is available. Whenever you click on the delete, it should display one pop-up. Are you sure want to delete? So in that pop-up, okay, cancel will be available. If that means I want a dialog. Basically, I want a dialog. So dialog box should occur whenever you click on the delete. So when you click on the delete, pop-up will come. Are you sure you want to delete? If you want to delete, then okay, the record will be deleted. If you click on cancel, that record will not be deleted. So we need to add that functionality. Basically, we need to perform CRUD operations, right? How to add the book to the table from the UI, how to edit the book and update the book, and how to delete the book from the database. Okay, now so the delete functionality can be implemented in 2 ways, guys. So in the projects, delete functionality will be implemented in 2 ways. One is called hard delete, second one is called soft delete. Hard delete means direct delete, record will be removed from the database table. Soft delete means record will not be deleted from the table, record will be inactivated in the table. Okay, so you can go for soft delete functionality as well as hard delete functionality. What is the meaning of a hard delete? Directly the record will be deleted in the database table, but in some projects hard delete is not recommended. The reason, whenever you do the hard delete, that record will be deleted from the database permanently, we cannot get it back. We cannot get the record back if it is deleted from the database table. So that's why people will go for soft delete functionality. What is the meaning of soft delete? Record will be available in the database, but it will not display in the application. Record will be available in the database, but it will not display it in the application. So to perform soft delete functionality, we need to take one extra column in the table, active switch, whether it is a active record or whether it is a delete record. So if it is a active record, then only it will display in the application. If the record is deleted, it will not display in the application. Are you clear with my point? Yep. Any questions? Is it difficult to develop this application? How many of you completed? Completed. Good. Any questions as of now? Anybody having any questions? Online people? Is the development process?
Ashok,
Yep.
that href you have added hash. What does that mean?
That means we don't know the URL pattern as of now. Once we create the methods in the controller, we'll give the correct URL pattern.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So currently we don't have any methods in the controller for adding the new book, for edit the book, for delete the book, right? So when we don't know the URL, then we will represent that as a hash. That means it's pending. Once our controller methods are ready, then we will give that URL pattern.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you write BT and danger, BT and secondary. Those are for like
Style,
styling.
sir. This, whatever I am writing, BTN, BTN primary, BTN secondary, BTN danger, these are bootstrap predefined classes. So
Okay.
here also, if I remove this class from the table will not look good. Okay.
Okay.
So here I'm using lot of bootstrap classes to make our application more beautiful. Suppose if I remove that table class from the table, I'm not writing any class for that. Now refresh. See, our table is not looking good. Okay.
Yes.
So to make it beautiful, we are using this class. So table is a predefined class. Table bordered is available. Then I'm going to give one more style also, table striped. What is the meaning of table striped? Every alternate line will be highlighted in the table. Okay. Let us run this. Run this application, refresh, run as boot app. Okay, now refresh. Now you see the table striped, first row is highlighted, again third row is highlighted. If I have one more row, that also will be highlighted. So that is striping. So table is a class, table bordered, table striped. So the proper alignment we are getting for the table. And here we are giving add a new book as a button. I want to give some gap between the button and the table. How can we do that? Here class is available, right? I want the here my button is sitting on the table. I want to give some gap. Break tag is not good. Margin bottom, margin bottom, margin top, margin bottom. We can give na MB-3 I have given. So let us see what will happen. Run as boot application. Currently it is sitting on the table. Exactly, it is sitting on the table line, not looking good. Yes, now do we have some gap now? So three pixel gap I have given. Margin bottom I want to give some margin. MB-3 I have given, which represents margin bottom. If you want to give some space above, margin top, MT MB, margin top, margin bottom. You can decide that by using your bootstrap classes. Okay. How can we learn these styles? Lot of YouTube tutorials are there. Even I learned the bootstrap from the YouTube only. W3 schools are there. So if we don't use this bootstrap, na, project will not look good. So with this bootstrap, lot of styles we are having, na, so it is looking good now. So we are able to display this one. Okay. And one more thing, what I want to do is, if records are not available in the database, if currently my table is having some data, so the data is coming when I retrieve the record. Suppose in the database, if records are deleted, if I truncate my table, truncate table book, I'm deleting my records in the table. When I delete my records in the table, now see what happened? Records are not available. When the records are not available, what we need to do? We need to display one message called no records found message. Is that message coming now? No. When we need to display that message in the table? If our list is empty. Now our controller is sending one collection to the UI. List of books we are sending to the UI. If the list is having the data, then the records will be displayed in the table. Suppose if records are not available in the collection, if my table is empty, my list also will be empty. If my list is empty, I want to display a message, no records found message. Are you getting my point? So you go to this table which is having in Ashoka IT website. Here you have option for the search functionality. When I'm searching for something, what it is saying here, no matching records found is coming at the center of the table. Now, when the data is not available, I also want to display same message in our application. Okay, I want to display no records found message in our application. When that message should come, no records found. When that message should come, no records found. When the list is empty. So if the list is empty, then I need to print that message. How to check whether list is empty or not? Is empty method, that is in the Java, but where we need to check that list is empty or not? In the HTML. So in the Java you can check whether your list is empty or not, but I need to display the message on the console, or I need to display message on the browser. I need to display message on the browser. So in the HTML, I need to check my list is empty or not. If my list is empty, then I need to display no records found message. Okay. Again, go to Google. See this. Check list empty in time leaf. So everything, this is called development technique, guys. So you no need to by heart anything. You no need to remember anything. You should have that self-learning capability is required. So now I want to check my list is empty or not in the time leaf. You know that how to check list is empty or not in the Java is empty method. List dot is empty, true or false value. But I need to check in the HTML page by using time leaf. Check list is empty in time leaf. Our favorite website, Stack Overflow. Go to this. If list not equal to null, like this, they have given the code. If not equal to null, not is empty, the code is available. If my list is not empty, if my list is empty, then I need to display some code like this. I need to write some code like this. Unless empty. So there are several ways available to check whether your list is empty or not. Okay. Now list is not equal to null and list is not empty. Let's take this one. Go here. Let me create one more tr. Now div th if books not equal to null, but what we need to check, equal to null, and if it is empty. This is the condition, right? If list is equal to null and if it is empty, so or else directly we can check if books is empty, whatever the key that we are sending, if that key is empty, then directly we can do that tr. If books is empty, then I will display td no records found. What is the message? No records found. If a list is not empty, multiple rows will be created. If a list is empty, then it will create one row by saying no records found. Now let us restart our application, run as boot application. I have deleted the data in the table, guys. Now, are we getting the message? No records found. But it is coming for only first column. It should be common for all 1, 2, 3, 4 call span. So we will specify call span for that. TD call span. How many columns are available? 4 columns available. For 4 columns, join message should be displayed saying that no records found. So we are able to check whether our list is empty or not. If list is empty, then display that message. If list is not empty, then display actual data. Now refresh. Now we are able to get the message, no records found. Let us insert one record into database and check it. Manually, I'm inserting the record now. Insert into book values 1 comma Java some 1,000 rupees, something like this. One record is inserted into the table. Refresh. Now the record is coming because there is a data in the table. When there is a data in the table, no records found message will not come. Our data is coming directly. Suppose if I truncate this table, I have truncated the table. Now refresh, we are getting no records found message. So is our application working as expected? Yes, our application is working as expected. Good. So we just implemented only retrieve operation. So the data which is available in the table, we are retrieving and we are displaying on the UI. You look at this part. From the Java side, we are good. Directly we are calling find all method, which is giving list of records. Now in the UI, we are displaying that data in the table format by using time leaf. Look at this logic. th each to iterate the collection. Controller is sending the data to the UI in the form of key and value. Key books, which is giving list of books, iterating each book and printing the record. For each row, we are printing edit and delete option. If the list is empty, how to check list is empty? Books dot is empty. No records found. If empty, if condition. If book collection is empty, then display no records found message by joining the 4 columns by using call span. Anybody not able to understand this? Anyone who is not able to understand this? Online students? You can do that by using CSS also, but doing that in the Bootstrap is easy. If you want to do the same styles in the CSS, lot of styles you need to write. Ready-made CSS classes are available. Bootstrap classes are available. Okay. Button primary means it will give in the blue color. Button secondary means it will give in the gray color. Button danger means red color. Okay, button info, button war. There are multiple colors available in the Bootstrap. So you can, yellow color also will be available. If you go to getbootstrap.com, you will understand the button colors. Okay, so if you see here, buttons, buttons. These are the primary means this color, secondary means this color, success means green color, danger means red color, warning means yellow, info means this color, light or dark or link, something like this. So these are the names of the classes. Button primary means this color button will come. Button secondary means this color button, like this. If you want to specify any button, like this. If you specify danger with button danger class, then red color button will come. If you specify button with warning, this color button will come. If you specify button with dark, then this will come like this. Link will come, button link will come like that. Dark color will come. Black color, if you want dark, button dark. The dark color button will come for that. If you want a light color button, just that light color button will come. So these are the class names available for colors to apply for the buttons. Okay. If you want to apply carousel for your website, in the Ashok IT website, carousel is available like this. You can apply the carousel also. If you go to our website, carousel is available. So the images will be scrolled automatically. Now you sliding images will come. Now first Java is displaying, right? Then after the carousel will start. Spring Boot is coming then. The next one, project. Next, carousel. This is called carousel. This carousel functionality also we can implement by using Bootstrap very easily. So here to implement that carousel part, you just need to copy this code. That's it. If you add this code in your HTML page, then carousel will come. For that carousel, you need to give the images path, what images you want for that one. Okay. Yeah. So you can learn the Bootstrap. You can learn the Bootstrap in 2-3 hours of time. That's more than sufficient. Okay. Yeah. Service IMPL. Nothing is there in the service IMPL. We are just writing one method to get all the books. That method we are implementing. Service method is calling our repository method. What is there to explain? We already discussed in the data JPA how to retrieve the records from the table by using find all method. Now, I want you people to work on the remaining functionality available here. You should be able to develop the logic to insert the book in the table by using time leaf. When I click on that button, one form should open where user can enter the data, and you should be able to save the data in the database table. And you need to implement edit and delete functionality. When user click on the edit button, that record should come to editable mode and they should be able to update the record. When user click on delete button, it should give one pop-up. Are you sure want to delete? If I click on OK, that record should be deleted from the table. Currently, you implement hard delete functionality. I will tell you how to implement soft delete functionality for that. So hard delete, soft delete in projects, some projects will go with hard delete, some projects will go with the soft delete functionality. Are you clear with this one? Can you guys complete the remaining task in the project? Adding the new book, edit and update the book, and delete the book. Okay, cool. You need, whenever you are iterating the book, right? Here, key should be, we are using key, we need to specify value. When you are writing for each loop, how do you write the for each loop in the Java? You will store that into a variable, right? Like this you will do that. So this is our list. This is the variable. From the list we are taking one object, we are storing into variable. Without storing into variable, can we do that? No, that syntax not valid. Okay. Online students, any questions?
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
Yes.
Yeah, for Bootstrap, JavaScript is mandatory.
Sir, already we are adding that JavaScript files, right? Here, JS files are available.
Okay. Then to learn Bootstrap, JavaScript is mandatory.
Not required, but basic idea if you have, that is good.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Ashok, you tell HTML is a static page, but the theme leaf giving the
Dynamic
web
behavior for that.
support, right? So
Yes.
can we achieve through a time leaf by a single page application like multi-page application by using time leaf?
No, time leaf we can't use for single page application. Multi-page application we can develop.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Ashok.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi Ashok. The question is regarding the set view name. So let's say we have the two different files extension, but the same name. So how Bootstrap identify
Then
which
I
file
got
is
it. I got
need
your
to
question,
load?
sir. If you have two views with the same name with the different extension, you need to configure two different view resolvers. I will show you how to work with the two view technologies in the single application.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Ashok. The same thing can we implement through the JDBC template? So that time the book entity, how we need to represent?
I did not get your question. Can you come again?
Can we implement the same thing with the JDBC template?
Yes, sir. If you go for JDBC template, then this repository is not required.
And the book entity?
The entity also not required. JDBC template means it's plain like a JDBC, right? You need to execute a select query. You need to map the data to the binding class by using row mapper concept.
Okay, so that time we need to suppose list of the book if we want to fetch. Then the book POSO we will require, right?
Yes, we need to require POJO, but you no need to write these annotations in the POJO. Entity ID, these annotations are not required.
Okay, so this is a blank POSO, right?
Blank POJO, that's it.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, hi sir.
Hello.
In HTML file, for each site, you mentioned book colon, right? Is it
Yes.
mandatory to write
Yes,
that
sir.
one?
This is the syntax to iterate the collection using time leaf.
Okay, but we can give any naming, but that is mandatory.
Key is whatever we are sending. This variable name can be anything. You can keep it as B also.
But that is mandatory.
Yes. Okay. Guys, I'm sharing this code here. Yes, madam. Go ahead.
Sir, any alternate time?
Any alternate for? Your voice is breaking.
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
I think we used Lombok dependency, right? But we haven't implemented in the application.
Lombok, I have not
Like we
used.
haven't used.
Lombok, I have not
Oh.
used. If you use Lombok, then you can use @data.
Okay.
So why HTML restart is not happening, sir?
Sir,
We added
HTML
dependency.
restart is not happening here. I will check it, sir. Java restart will happen. HTML restart is not happening. I need to check it once why it is not happening.
Hey,
Hi,
hi,
Ashok.
hi, Ashok. Can we use the add object method of a model and view for any data type, for map?
Yes, anything. Object type, value type can be anything, sir.
Okay.
Key is string, value type can be anything.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, Ashok, in our STS, Rambak is not supporting. Can we tell me
Yes, sir.
that
That is what
process?
in the STS 4.x version, the Lombok is not working, sir. I need to see
how
that.
to achieve that?
Yeah, I will check some solution for that. How can we solve that issue?
Okay.
Even I tried in my ID also, it is not working.
Same time I tried in my.
Hmm.
So that's why we are using setters and getters again.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Can you tell me that solution once you got it?
I will find that, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
What is the difference between like Spring Boot and Spring MVC?
You can't differentiate them, madam, because Spring Boot is internally using Spring MVC only for the web application development. We can't compare them, first of all. In the boot also, we are using Spring Web MVC only to develop the web application.
Okay, like I get this question in interview.
You need to clarify them that we can't compare them because Spring Boot is approach to develop the application. In the Spring Boot, we will use Web MVC module to develop the web applications.
Ashok sir, this is Riaz. I've yet to get the access for JRTP. I'm not I'm lagging behind on it.
Sir,
So
yeah,
if possible, could you please check?
please talk to admin team once, sir. They will give you that access.
All right.
Okay. Offline students, anybody having any question? Yeah. No, because we are extending from JPA repository, right? Then you need to write your, guys, listen, they are asking one, do you know what is the question he's asking? Then why are you not listening? You are not getting any question. When somebody asking a question, please listen to that. You need to improve listening skills. He's asking, instead of going for the interface, can I create an abstract class here? That's not possible, because if you create an abstract class, then you need to write the logic to retrieve the data from the database on your own. The main purpose of going for JPA is repository methods available, ready-made methods available. Why you need to implement that? Why you need to write that code on your own when there is already a predefined method? No, man. If you take a abstract class, that will become a class. Class cannot extend the properties from interface, right? It's not possible. Class cannot extend from interface. If you implement, you need to override all the methods. No, listen. If you want to take a class, your class will implement JPA repository. That is what you are saying, right? What is the meaning of implementing an interface? Overriding the methods. What is the meaning of overriding? You need to write the logic for all the methods. You need to write the logic in every method to for if you write a class which is implementing JPA repository, that means whatever the JPA is providing, you don't want to take that. You want to write your own logic for all the DB operations. No use. Yeah, if you have time, you want to write the logic for all the methods, then you can take a class, then you can implement the interface. But whatever you are planning to do, it is already providing by data JPA. Simple. You want to say that I want to create one class. In that class, you want to implement this interface. That is what your question, right? So what is the meaning of implementing? Suppose I will take one class like this, book DAO. You will take a class book DAO which implements JPA repository. Then what do you need to do? Override all methods. What is the meaning of overriding all methods? Public void save method. Then what you need to do? You need to load the driver. You need to get connection, insert record, close connection. That logic you need to write for every method. Is it easy? No, that is what, right? So you don't need to do this operation. That is the reason we are creating a repository interface by extending from JPA. If you want to create a class to implement JPA, it is like you are going to write the JDBC code again. you want to take your class as a abstract class. The problem is abstract class you want to implement as a JPA repository. Okay, if you want to take the class as a abstract class, you don't want to override all the methods available in the interface. Now, whenever you create your abstract class, that logic will not be available there. Only if you have a interface, they will provide the implementation for your class. They will not provide the implementation for your abstract class. They are implementing their own logic. So if you want to work with the JPA, you can't create the abstract class. It will not work out. You need to go with only interface. So you need to create only interface, which will extend from JPA. Then only you will get the predefined methods access to perform the DB operations. If you create a normal class or if you create abstract class, that will not work out. That's not possible. You can't do that. Yep. Good. Fine. Guys, I want to stop now. I want you people to work on the insertion part, update part, and delete part on the same application. Whatever the code I have done, I have given that code here in the file, and I have uploaded that in our portal also. So don't do the copy paste blindly. Don't do the copy paste blindly. Try to do this on your own. And once this retrieval functionality completed, try to add inserting the new record, updating the record, and deleting the records. We need to complete that CRUD operations by using WebMVC. Okay.
Sir, sorry for asking last doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, the JPA repository is not an abstract class, no, sir. So then no need to override, no, sir.
Sorry, I did
JPA,
not get you.
the JPA repository is not an abstract class, no,
It
sir.
is an
Then no need
interface,
to.
sir. It is an interface. It's not a
Interface
class,
means then.
interface. One
Then
interface
we
can
need to.
extend the properties from another interface.
Okay.
One class cannot extend from the interface. Only one interface can extend from the another interface.
Okay, sir.
Okay, cool. Fine. Good, guys. So with this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow's class. Please work on the assignment. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.